Imagine, for a moment, a library burning. Not the library of Alexandria, but the library of your own mind. Everything you have been told about how reality works, every law of attraction book, every feel-good seminar, every desperate prayer you've whispered into the void is turning to ash. Smell the smoke, feel the heat. Good. Because only when the false structures burn down can we see what was hiding behind the bookshelves all along. You are here because you are tired. Tired of the gap between what you know is possible and the suffocating loop of your daily existence. You have read the Kybalion. You can recite the 7 Hermetic Principles, as above, so below. It sounds poetic, doesn't it? But poetry does not pay the bills, and it certainly does not break the chains of karma. You are stuck because you were given a map, but the guardians of this knowledge deliberately withheld the key. They taught you mentalism, that the all is mine, but they never taught you transmutation. They taught you to observe the cage, but not how to bend the bars. What we are about to unlock is the lost law, the operational code that turns philosophy into physics. This is not about thinking positive. It is about the ruthless mechanical application of will to alter the vibrational state of matter. If you are one of the rare few ready to stop being a pawn on the chessboard and finally pick up the pieces, please click subscribe. Welcome to the Order. Let's strip bare the history you think you know. When the Hermetic teachings were released to the public in the early 20th century, they were sanitized, filtered, diluted for mass consumption. The powers that be, call them the elite, the archons, or simply the gatekeepers, understood a dangerous truth. A population that knows how to manipulate reality is a population that cannot be governed. So they gave you the light version. They told you that your thoughts create your reality, which is technically true, but practically useless without the mechanics of how. It's like handing someone a loaded gun, but not showing them how to disengage the safety. You pull the trigger of your intention over and over again, click, 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 but nothing fires. And in that failure, you blame yourself. You think you aren't spiritual enough. You think your vibration is too low. This is the deception. It is not your fault. It is a design feature of the control system. They want you to believe that mental transmutation is just changing your mood, turning a frown upside down. That is a lie. True transmutation is not about ignoring the darkness. It is about metabolizing it. It is the alchemical act of taking the heavy, leaden weight of your fear and rearranging its atomic structure until it becomes the gold of power. Consider this. Why does the universe seem to resist your desires? Why does the moment you decide to be wealthy, an unexpected bill arrives? Why does the moment you decide to find love, you feel more lonely than ever? This is not bad luck. This is physics. You are pushing against a counterforce you do not understand. And until you learn to stop pushing and start transmuting, you are merely running on a treadmill, sweating blood to stay in the exact same place. Now we descend into the engine room. To hack the system, you must understand the code it is written in. The Kybalion tells us of the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. But here is the secret they gloss over. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Think of a thermometer. Where does hot end and cold begin? Is there a specific line? No. It is one continuous scale of temperature. Hot and cold are not two different things. They are the same thing, thermal energy, vibrating at different frequencies. This is the axiom you must burn into your neural pathways. You cannot kill a frequency. You can only slide it. Most people try to kill their fear. They fight it, they suppress it, they run from it. This is why they fail. Fear and courage are the same energy. They are on the same pole. Fear is simply courage vibrating at a lower frequency. Hate is simply love vibrating at a lower frequency. When you try to destroy your fear, you are trying to destroy the very raw material you need to build your courage. You are throwing away your lead before you can turn it into gold. And here lies the law of gender, the missing piece of the puzzle. The alchemists knew that the mind has two facets, the masculine, objective, conscious, and the feminine, subjective, subconscious. Your conscious mind is the architect. It draws the plans, but your subconscious mind is the builder. It pours the concrete. The reason your reality doesn't change is that your architect is screaming orders, but your builder is deaf. You try to force the change with your conscious will. I am rich, but your subconscious, the feminine aspect, feels the lack. The masculine force is trying to dominate rather than seduce. True transmutation occurs when the conscious mind impregnates the subconscious with a new vibrational seed, not through force, but through resonance. You don't fight the cold, you simply turn up the heat. You don't fight the poverty, you slide your vibration toward abundance. But how? How do you move the slider when it feels rusted shut? This brings us to the most dangerous mechanism in the metaphysical universe, the pendulum. Bentov spoke of the wild pendulum, and ancient Hermeticists warned of the rhythm that swings between poles. But in our modern context, you must understand this as an energy trap. A pendulum is a thought structure, an egregore that has gained a life of its own. It does not care if you support it or fight it. It only craves your emotional energy. Think of the last time you desperately wanted something. You visualized it, you chanted affirmations, you poured every ounce of your desire into it. And what happened? It moved further away. This is the law of balance in action. By creating a massive excess potential, a surplus of importance, you unknowingly summoned a balancing force to cancel it out. The universe hates distinct spikes in energy. It seeks equilibrium. Your desperation was the spike, and your failure was the leveling. When you scream, "I want money," with a frequency of lack, you are feeding the pendulum of poverty. But, and here is the trick, when you scream, "I hate poverty," you are still feeding the same pendulum. It feasts on your fear just as easily as it feasts on your greed. You are caught in the oscillation, swinging violently from hope to despair, and the pendulum grows fatter on your exhaustion. To break free, you must do the unthinkable. You must stop the swing. If you can feel the weight of these invisible strings pulling at your life, you are beginning to see the puppet master.
We are decoding the software of reality, one layer at a time. If you wish to continue this descent into truth, ensure you are subscribed. Do not let the algorithm hide this signal from you again. The secret to defeating the pendulum is not to fight it, but to starve it. You must become transparent to it. When the wave of fear comes, you do not build a wall to stop it. That is resistance, and resistance creates friction. Instead, you become like empty space. You let the wave pass through you without snagging on a single hook of your ego. This is the state of the 0 point. In this void, the pendulum finds nothing to latch onto, and it withers away.
This leads us to the paradox of surrender, perhaps the most misunderstood concept in all of spirituality. The uninitiated hear surrender and think defeat. They think it means lying down and letting life trample them. They're wrong. Surrender, in the alchemical sense, is a tactical maneuver. It is the act of dropping the resistance so that you can finally take the wheel. You cannot steer a car while you are busy pushing against the windshield. Imagine you are trapped in a Chinese finger trap. The more you pull your fingers apart, the more you struggle to escape your current reality, the tighter the trap grips you. Your struggle tightens the weave of the matrix around your neck. The only way to release the grip is to push in, to relax, to lean into the very thing you fear. This is counterintuitive to the survival brain, but it is the only way the physics of consciousness works. You must accept your current reality fully, not because you like it, not because you want it to stay, but because acceptance is the solvent. You cannot transmute lead into gold if you refuse to touch the lead. You must hold the lead in your hand, acknowledge its weight, feel its coldness, and say, "This is what is." In that moment of total acceptance, the structure of the problem becomes fluid. It loses its rigidity. It becomes malleable. Only when you have ceased the war with the present moment does the energy become available for construction. Most people burn 90% of their fuel fighting what is, leaving only 10% to create what will be. When you surrender the fight, you reclaim that 90%. You are no longer a victim flailing in the water. You become the water itself. And water can flow anywhere it chooses. So, how do we perform the great work? How do we turn the lead of a miserable reality into the gold of a liberated existence? The ancient Hermeticists called this mental polarization. It is a precise psychological operation, not a vague hope. The first step is to find the neutral point. You cannot jump instantly from the depths of terror to the heights of ecstasy. The vibrational gap is too wide, and the pendulum will swing back and crush you. You must first neutralize the charge. When the negative emotion rises, be it fear, anger, or lack, you must refuse to identify with it. You say, "I feel fear," not "I am afraid." Do you see the difference? One is an experience, the other is an identity. By observing the emotion without judging it, you strip it of its momentum. You bring the slider back to the center. You become the eye of the storm. Once you have reached this neutral point, this state of cold, detached observation, you begin the induction of the opposite. You consciously, deliberately, and mechanically focus your attention
on the positive pole. This is not about lying to yourself. It is about tuning a radio. If poverty is 88.5 FM and wealth is 101.9 FM, you do not smash the radio because you don't like the song on 88.5. You simply turn the dial. You fix your mind on the quality of courage or abundance or love. You imagine it. You feel the texture of it. You breathe it in. At first, it will feel fake, will feel like a lie. This is normal. You are building a new neural scaffolding. But remember the law. Energy flows where attention goes. Every second you hold your focus on the positive pole, you are feeding it. You are starving the old reality and nourishing the new one. You are literally rewriting the holographic code of your local space-time. But here is the warning. You must be relentless. The old pendulum will try to swing back. It will whisper doubts. It will show you evidence that nothing is changing. Do not blink. This is the test. The moment you react to the old evidence, you repolarize back to the negative. You must hold the new frequency despite the evidence until the evidence changes to match you. This is the faith the ancients spoke of. Not blind belief, but the stubborn refusal to accept a reality that does not match your will. In the end, this journey is not about getting what you want. It is about remembering what you are. You are not the lead. You are not the gold. You are the alchemist. You are the consciousness that stands outside the experiment, mixing the elements. The universe is not a solid thing. It is a field of conscious black light, a hologram responding to the laser beam of your intent. Bentov knew this. Thoth knew this. The God code is not hidden in a temple in Egypt. It is woven into the double helix of your DNA, waiting for the command to activate. When you master mental transmutation, you stop being a character in someone else's script. You pick up the pen. You realize that the darkness was never your enemy. It was your raw material. Without the lead, you could never make the gold. Without the resistance, you could never develop the strength. The matrix is not a prison. It is a school. And you have just been given the answers to the final exam. The door is now open. The key is in your hand. But a key is useless if you do not turn it. The world will try to pull you back into sleep. The screens will flash, the news will scream, and the distractions will multiply. They want you docile. They want you reactive. They want you polarized to fear. Refuse. Stand firm in your neutral point. Transmute the noise into silence. Transmute the fear into power. Transmute the slavery into sovereignty. If this transmission has sparked a fire in your mind, do not let it die out. Join us, subscribe to the channel, share this with those who are ready to wake up. We are building the order, one awakened mind at a time. Until we meet again in the void, remember, the all is mind. The universe is mental. Make yours a masterpiece.